Councilmember Bildering,
Here.
Councilwoman Ramirez,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Scott,
Here.
Mayor Mintz.
Here.
Councilmember Wright has recused himself due to a possible conflict of interest.
Okay, closed session of the city council may be held in accordance with the state law, which may include but not limited to the following types of items: personal matters, labor negotiations, security matters, providing instruction to real property negotiators, and conference with legal counsel regarding pending and litigation. The closed session will be held at City Hall Conference Room located at 6136 Adobe Road, 29 Palms, California. Any public comment on closed session items will be taken before the closed session. Any required announcements or discussion of closed session items or action following the closed session will be made in the City Council Chambers, 6136 Adobe Road, 29 Palms, California. Anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation, Government Code Section 54956-9D2, one case. Anybody from the public want to talk? Okay, go to closed session.
down right to, what's the name of that place? Walk right out, go to the right, there's a name of it, and I mean, there's kind of a state, kind of a little more hardcore rock and roll freaking bang.
Oh, really?
And then if you walk, then you go, walk out of that place to the left, go past the country place, and then go, down there, and there's a stairs down with the speakeasy, you go in, and they play kind of like mellow. It's cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I really enjoyed that part of it.
Yeah, I imagine Christmas time they decorate that whole street.
Sure.
That's funny you said that, because I was gonna tell it, if I go, you're gonna take me to dinner.
Yeah.
Good, how are you doing?
Good, thank you. I've been pretty good. How about you?
Good.
Here? I wish I had something more exciting to say,
Got a
but.
few changes.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yes.
Yeah, welcome to the exciting.
Oh, good.
Yeah, good stuff.
Well, you look good.
Thank you, so do you. Life's good for you? Yeah, how's your son?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How about you?
Very good.
We recently had this, moved from San Diego to Long Beach for some, maintenance, so we're not in the water right now. It's gonna be a tough summer, that's for
Oh,
sure.
no, yeah.
Yeah, so,
How long you gonna be there?
I don't really know. So, we have to put the result on hold on it, and then my
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Should've did that months ago.
Yeah, we probably should have. We were thinking we were gonna get away with it for one more season and then do it. And then circumstances just happened. So you know what, let's just do it.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Yeah, don't put it off.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Well, good for you.
Good seeing you too. Take care, Mike.
If there's presentations, what will happen is that the council I can't remember if there are presentations on this agenda, but Octavius will come here, and the people he's presenting to will be here, and then he'll come stand over here, and Cindy, who's the clerk, will come over and take a picture. And you just stand it next to Cindy and I'll take a picture.
Yeah, just same angle.
Same thing. And if there's something going on, or people. Hey, Kurt. Good, how are you doing? I'm good.
You know, if any of the churches are planning vacation Bible schools this year?
I'll check on that, Kurt, and find out. That's a good question. Because, I haven't heard anything. Some do it like right after school's out, some do it in August. But I'll make a note and reach out and see what I can find out for you.
Way out.
And then you can sort of angle in.
You angle it and you'll stay straight. How's it going?
Could I give you one that has Cindy written on it? Oh, yeah, this is mine. Hi there.
I'm ready to hear it. You gotta be nice, aren't you always nice though? Hey Leanne, how you doing?
Good to see you.
Good seeing you too. Hi, I'll take you. Have we met?
I'm Linda.
Linda? Oh, you're just popping in or?
Just popping in.
Okay.
Yes, I
cool.
am.
It might be a boring one though, so you might pick the wrong day.
Well, I need to get involved and hear what's going on.
That's okay, Yeah.
Hey, down there. Well, that's good to see you, cause you said you didn't know if you'd be here
No,
tonight.
this one I can, it's
Oh,
the
it's the
planning
next-
commissions I've gone. I was
Gotcha.
gone last Tuesday and then I leave Monday,
Mhm.
and I'll be gone till through Sunday. I just met, you've met Diaz Ruiz.
Yes, I've known her for a while, actually.
She texted me last night and she has a ticket for me to the Tabernacle Choir at the Hollywood Bowl. I'm gonna read this, but it's gonna be so fast, you're not gonna be kind of worried. So excited.
Nice. Where's that at?
At the Hollywood Bowl. You know,
So in Hollywood?
yeah,
Wow, that's gonna be amazing. So are you gonna ride with her?
yeah.
Just
And
drive down and then have her drive?
Her husband's probably gonna drive.
Okay.
Because he's like, and then, I'll spend the night with her because I said I can't drive that late at night.
Mhm.
Cause I imagine it's gonna last until, 10, cause they've got like 5 of
What time does
people.
this start?
7.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna be there at 7. And
Yeah, you're gonna be out late.
she got hot seats.
You better take a long nap that day.
I can't, I was up at 5, I wake up with the sun. I'm not asleep for dinner.
Yeah, but what time do you usually go to bed?
10.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't go to bed any earlier than that.
Well, I realize that, but you're gonna be getting out at 10, so.
I know, but I won't be driving.
But that's true, you can get a few Z's, that's right. You can saw some logs while you're heading home.
But I can't remember who else is there, but I know Donnie's husband is one of the people performing.
Oh,
David Foster.
wow. That is a big event. Wow. That was nice of you to reach out to you.
Oh, because I'm on communication, and we tried.
Are you on the public affairs or on communication?
What they call it, just chat.
Yeah.
So technically, I'm supposed to be going places to find events that I can put on a website
Mhm.
that, people don't use it, people in the church don't use it very often out here. And when I've gone to places, if they need help, they want to know that I need 10 people, and I need to know the 10 people who live there. As opposed to putting on a web page. But I try to explain that this doesn't work because most people, when I don't know about it, people in the church don't.
Yeah, you know, we haven't really heard about it in the Ministerial Association in many years. I remember when it first came out, we were getting regular reports on it. You know, of what just service doing and how to, yes, Bobby, you're right. Bobby was the one that really, kept us informed on that.
Klinger, I can't think of her first name, but her husband passed away and she was in St. George. So then, Bobby doesn't, his computer program is terrible. It was not built to be user friendly. And if I want to put a picture on it, it has to be a certain size and it takes a teenager to be able to do it quickly.
Right.
Like I said, it wasn't used.
I thought I was doing my Google.
I talked to President Polly and they think they're looking at something to try and fill those issues.
Yes, that is a tall glass to fill, yes. Well, Susie had been doing it for a long time.
And just didn't always fall under the medication.
Oh,
Then they did some arranging that did. That's when
I got you.
we started doing things together. But, my jacket, my husband looked at me and goes, why? And I said, because it's cold in there.
Sometimes, yeah. Today was a hot day though, so I think,
I thought it was pretty cool. I didn't.
you thought it was cool?
I
Well,
put the new cooler on before.
really? You went all day without the cooler on? Until 4 o'clock? better never sell that house until, you know what I'm saying, don't you downsize.
No, I'm not gonna upsize it either. People probably should upsize. Why would I want more than?
Exactly. We've already done all that work. What were we thinking? You know what I'm saying?
I do.
This younger generation is a lot smarter than we were. They want everything minimum. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, they wanna just go on trips and live, you know, stay in a tent or whatever. They have no problem with none of that. They could care less about all the luxuries. They want the experience.
Right now, you can't save anything.
Yeah.
I didn't know if somebody was coming, but this is who it's done.
Oh, these are the performers?
You're in a daze.
Nice.
I don't know who does it. I can look through.
You know, 'cause they just had, who was it, Alan Jackson, or Alan Osmond that passed away? Yeah.
And it's just gonna keep.
Good evening and welcome. We're going to start this meeting, and we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance, and Mr. C.J. Horn is going to lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And our invocation is Leanne Clark.
Thank you. If you'd like to bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for tonight. We thank you for this beautiful weather, this beautiful city, and we thank you for protecting this city and just enriching this community. And we thank you for our council. We thank you for our city manager. We also thank you for our local press that keeps us informed and gives the reporting in a way that really informs the citizens. Father, we thank you for every resident here tonight that is participating in the meeting, participating on the agenda. We thank you, Lord, that we will have a peaceful and productive night tonight, and that we just thank you that we have the freedom to come here and be able to speak. We thank you again for our freedom of press, our freedom of just being here in this amazing nation. And we just thank you and give you the glory and honor in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Wright,
Here.
Councilmember Buildering,
Here.
Councilwoman Ramirez,
Here?
Mayor Pro Tem Scott,
Here.
Mayor Mintz.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. Okay, closed session announcements. We actually have an announcement out of our closed session. Let's see. In closed session, Mayor Mintz made the following motion, which was seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Scott, approving a vote of 4-0 with Councilmember Wright abstaining from participation because of potential conflict of interest. That the city not take formal action to pursue collection of the amount of $31,982.08 due to the city by Morongo Arch, related to the former agreement related to the city's Elm Avenue property. Okay, that's what closed session was about. Okay, do we have any changes to the agenda? No? Okay, thank you. Announcements. These proceedings may be viewed on demand on the City 29 Palms website at www.29palms.org. You may also live stream this meeting by going to the city website and clicking on meeting agenda link. Okay, awards, proclamations, appointments, and presentation by the Public Arts Advisory Committee, PAAC.
Good afternoon / evening, I guess, Mayor, council members, members of the public. My name is Sarah Lyons. I'm the vice chair of the 29 Palms Public Arts Advisory Committee, and I'm here tonight to make a brief recognition that is admittedly several months overdue, but no less important. Each year, the PAAC is pleased to be able to recognize a member of our creative community for their contributions to our local art and culture, and we award them the title of Arts Advocate of the Year. We have not yet had the opportunity to formally recognize our 2025 awardee, so I am here tonight to do that. Our 2025 Arts Advocate of the Year is an outstanding representative for the arts in 29 Palms, as well as in the greater Morongo Basin. A pillar of our creative community, she can always be found at local art-focused events, and she volunteers countless hours of her own time in supporting the various cultural endeavors in our city, of which I know we all know there are many. She is a font of valuable advice for other creatives, and of course, she is a talented, prolific, and multidisciplinary artist herself. She is also the former chair of the PAAC, and her support remains invaluable to our committee. The community of 29 Palms is very, very fortunate to have her. So on behalf of the 29 Palms PAAC, I would like to formally present the 2025 Arts Advocate of the Year Award to Anna Stump. And we have this plaque that is going somewhere in this building. I don't know where. Here, you want to hold this? It's got your name on it. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Well deserved, by the way. Did you want to say anything on?
I'm just in very good company following Leanne, and I appreciate it, and I appreciate your recognition as to how important the arts is to our community, overall health, happiness, and economic prosperity too.
Well, thank you. All right. All right. Council comments, reports of meetings attended. Councilmember Beldering.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let's see, busy. I'll hit the highlights. Pelican dinner, attended that. It was well attended by all the Morongo Basin. Did some networking, a lot of familiar faces in this room that were there too. Got to show off our new city manager. It looks like everyone likes him. Seems like it, right? Yeah. Also attended the high school graduation and the junior high promotion, and that's all I got.
Thank you. Councilmember Ramirez.
I also attended the Pelican dinner. I went to the Cal Cities legislative session on which bills we, as a league, will be supporting and which bills we'll be opposing also, which ones are hot bills to pay attention to. Went to the summer MUSD summer lunch kickoff. I met with a military spouse and her husband to advocate through Congress for completion of her immigration papers status and for all of it to be updated within the military. I also attended the webinar that I was invited to on care, community resilience, and advocacy, and that's with the Department of Justice. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I attended the Fine Food Bank Amazon presentation down in Indio, and Amazon presented them with a $80,000 check. And they do a lot, Amazon does a lot with the Fine Food Bank. And I got a chance to meet the CEO and talk to her about some things we need to do to get some of those resources up here, because her desire is to get those resources up here, but they met with some challenges that I think we can help with. And I also went to JPA, Joint Powers, talking about the trash. And of course, y'all know California, they're big on this recycling and all that kind of stuff. And that's basically what we talked about. They're still trying to work out how to recycle solar panels and all that good stuff and doing everything else. And then I got a chance to go to the celebration of life for Marjorie Smith. And they had it at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Yucca Valley. It was she's just an amazing woman, and everybody spoke highly of her, and she's definitely going to be missed. And then I also went to the Basin Transit meeting, where we did the procurement manager and the general manager's evaluation. We talked about that. They're both doing a great job. And then I went to the 29 Palms High School graduation, and I went to the junior high promotion ceremony, and I went to 29 Palms Elementary pre-K promotion. I had to see my granddaughter. You know, she going to kindergarten, so yeah. And it was funny too because they asked the kids what they wanted to be, and the first class, all of them wanted to be like doctors, lawyers, firefighters, police officers. And then when they got to my granddaughter's class, my granddaughter wants to be grown. Some other kid wants to be a vampire. I was like, wow, imagination, yeah.
6
So-
going on 25.
Yes. And then I did a farmer's market tour. I went to Palm Springs, Joshua Tree, 29 Palms, and yeah. And it was very interesting to see all the different farmers market. And I still say 29's got them all beat. So it was very good. And then I went to the junior high school kitchen grand opening. They have a new kitchen or cafeteria over there at the junior high school. Very nice, laid out very nicely. They have a walk-in freezer. They had it set at 2 degrees, and then they have a walk-in refrigerator, and then they have a dry pantry area too. So they thought about all the space that they needed. It was very nice. And then I also went to the summer lunch kickoff this morning out at Luckie Park with the Morongo High School. I'm at Unified School District. And I want to wish my wife a happy birthday. Her birthday ain't till the 24th, but just in case I, forget the next time. So happy birthday, love you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I attended the Pelican dinner. It was well attended, and it was a great opportunity to collaborate and network with our regional partners at every level of government and private sector as well. I went to the ribbon cutting ceremony for the junior high school cafeteria. As Councilmember MacArthur Wright said, it was actually well designed. It's a really good example of how to use existing space, but how to also, add on to that space to make it more productive and helpful for our students. I also attended the junior high promotion ceremony. I got to actually see my little cousin promote to junior high or to high school next year, so I'm really pleased with that. I went to the summer lunch kickoff this morning, and I met with constituents. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. All right. Well, I also went to the 29 Palms High School graduation. One of the things I'm impressed about is the dual enrollment that they have when they announce, okay, everybody stand up, that's dual enrollment, and almost the whole entire class stood up. It was only, I think, a very few of the students did not. So and that's 2 years in a row that I was there, that I saw that they're really pushing it through the high school, MUSD and CMC. So it's really good for our students to be getting both high school and their college already knocking some of that stuff out. I had a Basin Transit meeting, like MacArthur Wright said. It was mostly a staffing meeting. Yesterday I was at the MDAQ air quality meeting. The exchange program is still going on. You go to their website and you can exchange gas-powered lawnmowers, weed whackers, blowers, all that stuff for battery-operated ones. And it's a STIAL, S-T-I-A-H-L, which are really good products. So they're not exchanging junk for it. So it does cost you a little bit, but it's well worth it. It's like a third of the price of what you'd pay. to exchange that. So that's still on their website, and that's still going on. This morning, went to the Lucky Park for the MSD summer lunch kickoff. That's a really good program. That their whole staff does a great job with that. And they put together, obviously, some other booths in there. The county was there with some other information. So next year, if you hear about this, please go to it. It's well worth it, and it's a pretty good hot dog, too. Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, and I went to the Copper Mountain College graduation also. So, okay. Consent calendar. All matters listed on the consent calendar are to be considered routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Any item may be removed from the consent calendar and considered separately by the city council.
Skipped over city manager's report.
Oh, yeah. That's because I wrote over it. Okay. I apologize. We moved the city manager update to after council comments, and I wrote all over it, so it's not that I forget about the city manager. Sorry.
I just want to take this opportunity to highlight a couple things that are happening in the departments around the city. Number one, our swim lessons and summer day camp have kicked off, and so if you have children, I know school just got out, and if you have children that want to get involved with those programs, you can go to the website or to our Park and Rec page, or you can go down to the office and enroll them in those programs. Second of all, June 6th was Adopt a Pet Day, and so our local shelter ran a free adoption program where the fees are waived through the Cal Animals, the ASPCA, and they'll reimburse the city for the adoptions, and our local shelter participated in that and adopted 10 animals, 5 cats and 5 dogs. So it's a good day for the shelter. Second of all, our Public Works department is finishing up the Utah Trail project, the chip seal project on Utah Trail. If you've been down that way, it'll be striped tonight, which will kind of finish off that project. So another good project that the city is doing. Again, our planning department through our city engineer has applied for an active transportation project grant. And that grant is to finish off sidewalks that were started in an earlier cycle from the high school down past Oasis all the way here to Adobe Road. And this creates a walking corridor for people going to either of those schools, the high school or at the Oasis. And so we've managed to do probably about 2/3 of that project, and this final bit is the next project. If you go to the city's website, there's a QR code on there that you can scan to, it helps to have citizen input on these projects and make sure that the citizens are actually using the transportation corridors that we're working on. So if you see fit, go to the city's website. Under announcements, it talks about this program, and at the very bottom of it, there's a QR code that you can give your input. Input is very very needed. Additionally, I want to update on something that Councilmember Ramirez asked for, and that is AB Assembly Bill 1383. And that has to do with the League of California Cities, which we belong to, gives legislative updates. And this particular legislation has to do with the changing of PEPRA. PEPRA is a change in the retirement system enacted some time ago to control those costs in some way. And one of the things that this bill proposes is to lower the retirement age. The reason why the league has asked for cities to come out against this is because obviously that has an impact on the retirement liability for every city. Now, this particular bill is specific to public employee or public safety employees, so your fire and your police departments for cities that have those things. We don't, but ultimately, we contract with the sheriff, who I believe this will impact, and thusly indirectly will impact us down the road. So I kind of want to give that update on their need for support in opposition of this bill. That's what I have at this time.
All right. Yes.
Are we the ones doing Condor Road too?
We are. Yes, we are. That's another project.
Okay.
A lot going on.
All right. Now we'll go to consent calendar. All matters listed on the consent calendar to be considered routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Any item may be removed from the consent calendar and considered separately by the city council. The public will be given an opportunity to comment on the consent calendar items prior to the city council action. Does anybody on the council want to pull any items off the consent calendar or ask a question? No? No. Okay. Anybody from the public would like to have a question or pull an item for discussion? Seeing none. May I come back to council? May I have a motion, please?
I'll move the consent calendar.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none?
Councilwoman Ramirez,
Aye.
Councilmember Bildering,
Aye.
Councilmember Wright,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Scott,
Aye.
Mayor Mitz.
Aye.
Approved 5-0.
Okay, no items were removed. Okay, public hearing, adoption of resolution authorizing the placement of a solid waste handling service charge on the county property tax roll and approving the related agreement with the county.
I think so this is adoption of the resolution. Every year we have to place these charges. We have to approve them and adopt the resolution that approves them. Tonight we have some members from Burtech here. If you have questions related to this item.
Any questions for staff or Vertec? Okay, seeing none. Do we have any slips, Cindy? No slips for the public? Okay, bring it back up to council. Looking for a motion. Oh, that's right. Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing and I'm going to close the public hearing. Okay. Okay, back to council for a motion.
What number, Cindy?
2617.
Okay, I make a motion that we adopt resolution number 2617, authorizing inclusion of the charges for solid waste services on the county tax rolls and approve the related agreement with the county for doing so.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Councilwoman Ramirez,
Aye.
Councilmember Wright,
Aye.
Councilmember Bildering,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Scott,
Aye.
Mayor Mitz.
Aye.
Approved 5-0.
Okay, discussion and potential action items. Support for co-sponsoring Public Records Act Bill AB 1821. City manager will present this item. Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, this is another legislative action that the League of California Cities has brought to the city's attention. And I took this opportunity to put this on the agenda just to give you some information about what's currently happening in the environment with respect to the Public Records Act. So they sent out a flyer, and essentially to encapsulate it, the California Public Records Act is a vital tool that allows the public to hold government accountable. However, in recent years, local agencies have seen a sharp rise in both volume and complexity of public records requests, along with the decline in the key revenue sources that once offset those costs. This is something that is happening statewide, and it's certainly something that is happening here in our city too. This bill, the essence of the bill is the bill requires that when a public records request is made, it's 10 days, the city has to respond within 10 days to that records request to tell the requester that we do or we don't have records that fit their request. The essence of this bill changes that from 10 days to 10 working days. Essentially, most cities don't have staff to work on the weekends or holidays. So really, it's not a huge change, but it is a change that's being brought forward to try to offset the difficulty that we're having these days with public records requests. And we're feeling it too. One of the things we've never done before, which we're going to start doing, is actually tracking the time it's taking to process these public records requests, so that we can let the public understand the cost to the city on these things. We're not suggesting people don't do it, but we want everybody to know exactly what it costs the city to fulfill these records requests. Time and effort. There's both. We have about 3 different people in our city that work on these things, and then that's before they go to our lawyer. So, for every public records request, quite often there's 4 different people that touch it before we can actually get it to the requester. So, the League of California Cities is asking for a letter of support from the council to make this change from 10 days to 10 working days. I'm happy to take direction from you if you'd like me to draft a letter to send in support of this, or optionally, I don't have to do that. It's up to you.
No, that's actually pretty reasonable, 10 working days, because we only work Monday through Thursday, so that's 4 days, and then the next week is 4 days instead of, because then that would they'd only give them less than, because it'd be 4, 5, 6, 7, so they'd have to have it done by Wednesday of the next week, and only had 6 days to work on it. It's 4, so.
You are able to have a 14-day extension in some cases, so I think that we sometimes we do that, but this is, to give full 10 working days to cities to respond, and then the appropriate extensions if necessary.
Right.
But I'm happy to draft that letter in support.
Okay.
Unless
Well,
I hear opposition.
Any more questions for city manager before we open this to the public? Oh, this is number 12.
Yeah,
We're on 12. Okay, yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to open the public hearing, or public comment, I'm sorry. This is the wrong one. So, Cindy Bernard. Gotta remember that, not public hearing, public comment.
Good evening. I'm Cindy Bernard, editor of the Desert Trumpet. I want to explain why SIPRA matters right now. Desert Trumpet has documented that E-Group made financial contributions to local organizations in the week before the council's vote on the solar project. We've also documented a pattern. A group that declined to speak in favor saw its funding reduced, while a group that spoke in favor received its funding. The public has a right to know the story behind those donations, and the records we've requested via SIPRA are key to the story. On March 16th, we filed a request for documents referencing the solar project in E-Group, along with words like donate, support, and fundraise. On April 21st, the city confirmed that records existed, were under review, and would be produced June 10th, which is actually tomorrow. At your last meeting, I described an email in our possession in which a council member directs staff to run only exact keyword match searches. That is not the legal standard under Government Code Section 7922530 and the courts that interpret it. The standard is a reasonable search for all responsive records. 2 days after I spoke, staff emailed me. On a 10-week-old request, one for which the city had already confirmed records existed, I was asked suddenly to provide specific names and keywords to refine the search, or it would be closed in 5 days. Let me be clear. I don't believe the staff handling our requests are the problem. They are trying to do their jobs. The problem is the direction they are being given. Because the language in that email echoes the very instruction from a council member that I just described, the problem is the direction being given because the language in that email echoes the very instruction from a council member that I just described. I responded in detail well within the deadline. I haven't heard back. I'll let the timing and the use of that council member's language in the staff email speak for itself. To be clear, council members, your email accounts are city property. Staff does not need your permission to search them, and staff should not be directed to search them for less than the law requires. That direction protects no one, and it places staff in legal jeopardy because the duty to search belongs to the city. Per section 7922.500, nothing in the Act permits the city to delay or obstruct access to records. I am asking that the council direct staff to apply the reasonable search standard rather than exact match, and to honor the June 10th production date for our request. I'll be following up by emailing each of you the request, the staff email, and my response. Also, regarding the current legislation, isn't there also a provision that charges for city time if the requester isn't press?
According to this bulletin, agencies have lost key revenue sources that once offset these costs. Proposition 42 eliminated state reimbursement for compliance, and a 2020 California Supreme Court ruling restricted agencies from recovering staff time or technical costs associated with producing records.
So maybe they adjusted it. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, that's the only slip we had, so we'll bring it back to close the
I'd like to make a motion that we direct the
public
city.
comment. I messed up half the meeting, so I figured I better do it right. Okay, back to council.
I'd like to make a motion that the city council direct the city manager to draft a letter of support for California Public Records Act Bill AB 1821.
Second.
You have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Wright,
Aye.
Councilmember Bilderrain,
Aye.
Councilwoman Ramirez,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Scott,
Aye.
Mayor Mintz.
Aye.
Approved 5-0.
Thank you. Okay, received report outlining polling requests, review ballot measure language and resolution, and other consideration related to the local sales tax ballot measure.
We're currently dialing the phone to bring Clifford Moss, our consultant, into the room.
Hello, Amanda C.
Hello, Amanda. You're here with the city council.
All right.
All right. So as we start this item, just a little background. This is both for the council and the public. The city is facing severe and increasing structural deficit, meaning that expenses have and will continue to grow faster than revenues. As costs continue to rise, cities must identify new sources of revenue to prevent reducing the number and quality of city services. Within the last 5 years, the town of Yucca Valley, cities of Palm Desert, Indio, and Cathedral City have passed local sales tax measures. These measures have been vital in helping cities keep up with rising costs, maintain current levels of service, and in some cases enabling the city to afford new services to meet residents' needs. Without these tax measures, cities may be forced to reduce or eliminate key quality of life services. So some time ago, the writing was on the wall with respect to rising costs. And, two city managers ago now, Frank started looking at the possibility of implementing a local sales tax. We've at the same time, while trying to improve our economic condition, revenues have remained flat and are projected to either remain flat or slightly decline. Flat or declining revenues are not unique to 29 Palms, but are rather symptomatic throughout the state. Despite the consistent efforts to tighten the belt, operating expenses continue to increase. Staff believes a 1% sales tax measure is something the City Council must consider as a possible means to maintain and improve core city services such as road maintenance, parks, law enforcement, fund animal shelter operations, and overall city services. So to that end, the City Council and staff wanted to understand the community needs, and we hired Probolski Research and Clifford Moss to do some outreach to the community, which they did, sending polls, making polls available to registered voters, and and starting in 2023, the City of 29 Palms conducted 2 scientific surveys to gather community input from residents about key issues, city priorities, and possible funding considerations. Additionally, the city conducted extensive outreach through one-on-one conversations and started a comprehensive and multi-channel engagement strategy. In March 2026, a citywide mailer was sent to over 5,000 29 Palms voter households which include an invitation to a community survey and a QR code linking to a dedicated web page with an opportunity to receive additional information and provide input about the city's priorities. The survey generated 682 responses, including 542 written comments, providing valuable insight into what matters most to residents. The survey was also promoted through an ad placements on Meta and Facebook, with 4 published video advertisements and 9 customized static advertisements. These digital efforts achieved a total of 184,000 impressions with 13,455 clicks, with a click-through rate of 7.31%, along with 41,726 post engagements. Following that first mailer, a second mailer was sent to residents reporting back what was heard in the survey and outlining the next steps. This work was conducted to help guide and inform the City Council's decision on whether to move forward with potential 2026 revenue measure. So that's kind of where we are right now. We've done some, when I say we, our consultants, Clifford Moss, did this community engagement. You'll notice that, it was 5,000 households. Well, those were registered voter households. So it certainly is a sampling size of the overall city, but it really represents the voting public. And, as we just went through an election, I encourage everybody to register to vote. But the response that we got back from the registered voters was things like law enforcement, road maintenance, and the animal shelter were very high on the list of priorities for the public. And they would support a 1% tax measure if those were the things that it was being used for. So I share that with you. Our next steps before we get into questions or conversation is we would bring forward, if there's an inclination to continue on the road that we're pursuing right now, we'll bring back either at the June 23rd or the meeting in July a resolution that will allow us to put this on the ballot. That has to be done by the beginning of August, and it'll go on the ballot and then ultimately be voted on in November. So that's kind of a broad timeline. At our next meeting on the 23rd, we'll have those dates lined out for you exactly, but those are kind of the next steps. So at this time, I'm here and our consultants, Clifford Moss, are here to answer questions both from you and from the public on this.
Okay, is anybody have questions for consultant or staff? None? Okay.
I think that first off, I want to thank the city manager and staff and Clifford Moss on working with this, on helping us to get this important data so that we can make the appropriate decision. As most people know, the city council is not the one that's going to put a tax on our residents. Only the voters can do that. And so if the voters are saying, they would support this, I think it's appropriate that the city council send that to the ballot in November.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, I'm gonna open the public comment. Anybody from the public want to comment on this or ask any questions of our consultant at this time? Everybody already got all their questions answered? Okay. Okay, I'll bring it back to council.
One thing that I will put out there for residents that might see this, that we have some fact sheets available that give some of the background, talk about the city and where we've been. We have never tried for a local sales tax measure. We've managed to provide the city services up to now based on what sales tax was when we incorporated the city, and I believe we've done a pretty good job all these years of providing city services. However, the time is approaching where we're not going to be able to keep up with those expenses as were said earlier. And at the same time that the revenues are staying flat and expenses are going up, our facilities are aging. We have an animal shelter that is in desperate need of renovation, if not complete new building. We have roads that are in constant need of maintenance. The more people that come here, whether it's tourists or others, we have a greater need for sheriff's enforcement. So all these things, the need for all these things is going up, and time is getting us. So I think that this is an opportunity for the public to weigh in on whether this measure would be a good idea.
Well, obviously, the tourists will be paying for part of this tax, and when Yucca Valley passed theirs, they made it very clear that tourists and people from 29 Palms will be paying a lot of that tax because a lot of people shop there. So it's just, we're kind of keeping up with the neighbors a little bit with this, because everything we buy from Yucca Valley has the 1% included in that. So it's we've held out as long as we could, and I hope the citizens research it and make a good decision.
Well,
so
this fact sheet and a frequently asked question sheet are available on city website. They're available here in City Hall. So anybody that's interested, I want to hit a couple things on the fact sheet. Number one, it's 1% sales tax, and providing the estimate is could provide as much as $2 million additional in revenue over the course of a year. So that's something that we could make some significant improvements in what we're doing. I just want to point that out. I think we have a public to speak on the item. Someone?
All right.
No. Yeah, I already opened the
Okay.
public.
I didn't know if those were for this. Okay. Anyway, that's what I have.
I just have one thing, because I know, even though, people said about the sheriff department, security and the roads and the animal shelter, this tax is not gonna have a label. That was one of the things we talked about. Was
This is a general levy tax in that it would go into the general fund. There's a couple reasons for that. Number one, we have needs across across the city, and we want to have the ability to address all those needs in some way, shape, or form. To be honest with the public, the other reason is because it requires a 50% plus one, as opposed to a specific tax that would require a two-thirds vote, and that's the other reason why we would want a general tax like this.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're in discussion.
In all of the items that you were so kind to address that, we're going to have associated with future costs and things of that nature, I think one of the other things that we really do need to look at, especially as I'm sitting in these legislative sessions, is that depending on which bills pass and depending on how the election goes this November, there's also going to be a lot of state mandates that we're going to have to also keep up with. And I think that's something that's really important because we can't really get away from the state.
You bring up a good point. Lots of times, we're mandated to do things by the state, and we've already adopted a budget, that doesn't include those things sometimes, and this would provide some revenue to be able to do that. I might at this time ask Clifford Moss if there's anything that I didn't suggest that maybe you want to make sure that I included.
The little sign says no microphone.
Yeah.
Sound.
Oh, can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
Now we can.
Well, she was talking, we couldn't hear her.
Okay. Actually, you did a great job, Kevin, doing the summary. I think this is, a great opportunity for your city. And I think one of the council members said it very well. You don't impose taxes on your voters, they have the opportunity to make that choice for themselves. And they've given us a lot of great feedback over the many, many months. And I think it's, you know, really important. We listen to them. They really take pride in the city of 29 Palms. They want to see some improvements. And I think this could really help with that. So great work to you all. And, you know, we're here to support you as you continue on this path.
Thank you. One thing will be for sure is that we'll have another opportunity on June 23rd for the public to come out. I don't know if we'll be ready with the resolutions to adopt them on the 23rd, if that's what you so choose to do. Like I said, we may bring that back in July, but this sales tax will have some agenda item for discussion at a minimum that will give the public an opportunity to speak to it.
Okay, but we're talking about possibly being dark on the 13th. Amanda, is that going to give us enough time if we don't pass this until the 20? Would be the. It would
actually be the 28th.
The 28th of July. Is that going to be on the
Yes,
time frame?
The state and county filing deadline is August 7th. So that's more than enough time to file. Basically, everything is ready for you when you vote on it on July 28th. And then the paperwork just has to be brought down to the county registrar of voters. So it's very simple after that. There's plenty of time. And it gives your team time to review and come back with all of that.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure we're not going to miss any deadlines. Okay, good.
No.
Okay, any other questions for staff or Amanda or Josh? I think he's there too. Okay, all right, well, thank you.
That's
thank
all
you
I have.
all. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, looking for, we have to do a motion, right? Just
receive the
Oh,
report.
yeah, I see that, okay. Okay,
Thank you, Amanda. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.
okay, future council initiated items. Do we have any items?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I had a meeting with the city.
You can go home, Josh. He's probably already home. Sorry.
No worries. Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I had a meeting with the city manager. I'd like to remove an item from the future initiated list. Discussion on creating guidelines for the use of city hall meeting rooms by elected and appointed officials for official city business. I understand that there's already policy and the city manager will manage that policy.
All right. Well, we're down to 13 now.
Also number 13.
Yeah, I wanted to speak to that. Number 13 is an item also that I believe I can deal with administratively. Really, what that comes down to is a staffing issue, and I'll be working with some recreation staff that in the need that we have to open the cooling center, that we have appropriate staff available for that. So I think it's also something that I can administer here.
Okay, we're good with that? Okay. All right. 2 of them.
There is a third one that I have done a little bit of research with respect to item number 4 on that list, discussion of the new federal holidays to coincide with the city's holiday schedule. I believe we've worked it out to be able to move forward with the current policy that we have, and in the event that something strange happens with regard to the president, which I know that happened last time, that we'll be able to adapt with that based on our current policy. If you're okay with that.
Yep, that's all I want. I'm good.
All right.
Don't make it too easy now.
All right. Okay. We'll go on to public comment.
I didn't know if there was anything else that anybody wanted
No.
added to the list. All right, we're making the list shorter. That's what
Yes.
we want.
Okay, public comments. This is the time for the public to address the city council on issues within the jurisdiction of the city council that are not on this agenda. All comments are to be directed to the city council and shall not consist of any personal attacks. Members of the public are expected to maintain a professional, courteous decorum during their comments. There's a time limit of 3 minutes per person. If you haven't done so, please fill out a name and address slip and give it to the city clerk. The city council is prohibited by state law from taking any action on the items not included in the printed agenda. Public comments or specific agendas will be deferred until consideration on the item on the agenda. Okay. First one is Chris Carraker? Carraker, okay. I was trying to be pronunciation.
Yeah, I'm Chris Carraher. I live in Wonder Valley, and I've been in the area since 1992. Originally lived in 29 Palms. And I'm here to express my concerns about flock. And I am grateful to Councilmember Scott for setting up a community roundtable on that matter. As you realize, anybody who lives in Wonder Valley is constantly driving into and through 29 Palms. And I see a lot of consternation and anger among my neighbors at feeling as though they are being routinely surveilled as soon as they enter the city limits here. It causes a lot of distress and ill will. I think we all can understand that a free citizenry is not consistent with routine surveillance, which is what flock is. I understand that it's new technology. There's a lot of purported guarantees about how it would protect privacy, but my experience in life is that any new technology, just because we could use it, does not necessarily mean we should use it. And what I also know is that any new technology will get used, and it will get used by people who don't necessarily have our freedoms at heart. So I urge you to reconsider the use of flock cameras and to be totally upfront with the citizens about what the parameters are on the cameras, and ideally to take them down altogether. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Beth Sheffield? Beth? All right, all right.
Beth Sheffield, thank you. Council members, I also want to thank you for scheduling the July 9 roundtable discussion on the flock surveillance. Shout out to Octavia Scott, who was kind enough to chat with me for a few minutes about my concerns about flock when I saw him at the Glass Outhouse in February. I appreciate you listening to my concerns. Back in February, there were 21 flock cameras in 29 Palms, according to the map on the website DFlock. As of today, 4 months later, there are now 33 cameras. The numbers of these flock surveillance cameras continue to increase despite several community members coming to city council meetings and writing to the city council to express their concerns about these flock surveillance cameras. I've been thinking and also doing some reading on Wikipedia today, and I want to share a few points with you. Democracy is a form of government in which political power is invested with the people or the population of a state. Privacy issues are democracy issues. Citizens living in a healthy democracy are not surveilled. By installing all of these flock surveillance cameras, the city of 29 Palms is moving towards becoming a police state. Why? Why is this necessary? Someone once remarked that arguing that you don't care about the right to privacy because you have nothing to hide is no different than saying you don't care about free speech because you have nothing to say. California privacy laws, the California Constitution articulates privacy as an inalienable right. Did I say that right? The California Consumer Privacy Act, CCPA, is a state statute intended to enhance privacy rights and consumer protection for residents of the state of California in the United States. The intentions of the act are to provide California residents with the right to know what personal data is being collected about them, know whether their personal data is being sold or disclosed and to whom, to say no to the sale of personal data, to access their personal data, to request businesses to delete any personal information about a consumer collected from that consumer, and to not be discriminated against for exercising their privacy rights. The CPRA, California Privacy Rights Act of 2020, also known as Proposition 24, is a California ballot proposition that was approved by a majority of voters after appearing on the ballot for the general election on November 3 of 2020. This proposition expands California consumer privacy law and builds upon the California Consumer Privacy Act of 2018. The CPRA took effect on January 1, 2023, applying to personal data collected on or after January 1, 2022. The law cannot be repealed by state legislature, and any amendments made must be consistent with and further the purpose and intent of the act. Of note, San Bernardino County approved this measure by over 50%.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Paul Nugent?
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'll be brief. The city's general plan is overdue for an update, and I think it's important that residents have meaningful opportunities to participate in that process. Our community includes individuals with valuable expertise and experience who can provide insight on land use, zoning development, and other planning issues. And for that reason, I would like to suggest that the City Council authorize the Planning Commission to establish a Citizens Advisory Committee to assist with the general plan update. When the general plan was last amended, the city created a 12-member general plan advisory committee to help gather community input and provide recommendations. A similar approach would ensure that the current update benefits from broad public participation and the diverse perspectives of our residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, this is an email sent to us from Heather Hugner. Basically, as the country is trying to control every aspect of human life and to track a lock 99% of us in a digital prison by 2023 will never be a democratic country. The city is a city that assists in this country's fastest agenda is putting all resources towards policy, policing, and surveillance, and will never be thriving nor a functional city. As a private citizen, I oppose AI surveillance in all forms. I oppose increasing taxes to the government that represents this agenda, provides no transparency, and ignores the will of its people and needs. And it says, care belongs to the center of the thriving economy and well-beings of any true measure of the success leaders, and consider neither well-being nor thoughtful stewardship of this land freely provides cannot be trusted to lead. All power to the people. Heather. And then I got one from Brianna Sullivan from the MUSD. It's Morongo Unified School District Nutritional Service Department. Would like to extend our sincere gratitude to everyone who attended and supported the third annual Summer Meal Kickoff event. We would like to offer a special thank you to the Parks and Recreation for their partnership and assistance in making the event a success. We also appreciate Torrey Palms Farmers Market for providing their delicious lemonade, as well as all the vendors and community supporters who contribute to the wonderful day. A heartfelt thanks goes to Mayor Mintz, the City Council, and the City Manager for taking the time to stop by and show their support. The City Clerk was there also. Cindy. Events like this would be possible without the strong partnerships between the city and the continued support of the community partners. What an amazing way to kick off our summer meal program, which helps provide nutritious meals to children throughout the Morongo Basin. We are grateful for the collaboration and community spirit to make this program possible. We'll be looking forward to a successful event next year. Thank you, Brianna Sullivan. Okay. Let's look, Cindy Bernard.
Hi, since I'm here, I just wanted to take the opportunity to share with the council some information that we've discovered from the county regarding future agenda item number, 9, the annexation of those two parcels. I'm concerned that city staff time might be being spent on researching this future agenda item in preparation for council, when I feel that this appears to be a frivolous item. In talking with the county, these are non-contiguous parcels. They are not on the city border at all. And they are occupied by Set Free, which is a church, as you all know, which runs a Christian discipleship program that, in my opinion, masks as rehab. But it is Bible study. And we have confirmed with the state that they do not hold any license to run a rehab program, even though I think they are doing drug and alcohol rehab there. I believe that has to be licensed at the state level. They do not hold one. And I don't understand why we would be considering the annexation of parcels that are occupied by a church, because there is the separation of church and state in our Constitution, and I think this is really problematic. And I hope that council will consider whether or not it's worth staff time, and also quite frankly, the city manager, last city manager, contacted on his time the county to discuss the fact that Set Free was asked to discontinue its program by code enforcement, to ask that that discontinuance be suspended. And also there's a council member who has written on their city email regarding this church. So, you know, we talk about the amount of money that's being spent, and we're talking about staff time, and I'm just asking that we really think thoroughly about what that staff time should be spent on. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Stacy, is this John or Laura? Sully. Okay. I could read Stacy, the other part I couldn't read.
Yeah, my handwriting could use work.
Yeah.
Hi, thanks for being here to listen to all of us. Thanks to Councilmember Scott for taking the flock camera concerns seriously. I share some of the same concerns that were raised earlier, and I've been here before to talk about those concerns. But in addition to what was already mentioned around privacy, there's also the issue of the data being privately owned, and there's a huge lack of transparency around who can access that data, whether flock employees are accessing it to watch people themselves, and then besides that, concerns about breaking the California state law to give access to ICE and other federal surveillance kidnapping operations that are moving us towards fascism. So I just want to, again, thank you for taking it seriously, and I look forward to more discussion, and I'm really happy to see that on the list of items that the council is going to discuss in the future. And then I guess a question that we can talk about later. I'm curious, when is the contract up, and what are the chances we can rescind the contract and cover the cameras as soon as possible? Thank you.
Thank you. Leanne Clark.
Thank you. Well, I want to take a moment to congratulate Anna Stump in receiving the 2025 PAAC Arts Advocacy Award. She's done a tremendous amount of work for our art community, and she is just such a stellar representative in this area. So my hat goes off to her because she truly deserved that award. And I also want to take time to thank and recognize Scott Clinkscales. I understand that he will be leaving the city, pursuing some other things, and he was just such a blessing in serving in the Parks and Recreation Department, the community events, the number of events the Ministerial Association hosted, as well as many other nonprofits, being at, at 4 a.m. in the morning or being there late at night as we were putting on community events. And I just want to take time to be on the record to just say how much he was greatly appreciated, and he's going to be tremendously missed. I mean, just many of the things he did in presentations, he just always brought excellence to the table. And I really admired that about him, and I was really devastated when I read he was going to be leaving. But I also remember being young and moving on and taking what you learned from one place and moving on to something else. So I just want to congratulate him for a job well done, and thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Okay, that's all the slips that I have. Okay, before we go into adjournment, we need to talk about summertime schedule, because we do take a couple of meetings off. So are we going to be dark July 14th and August 11th? Is that good dates for everybody? Yep. Everybody's good with that? So if everybody wants to write their calendars, we will be dark July 14th, and August 11th. Okay? All right. Seeing nothing else, this meeting's adjourned.
Thank you very much.